So, covering the story about the shooting in Germany, the investigation to the quote-unquote deeply racist gunman's links, I think this was a terrorist attack, and I'll tell you why. Actually, wait, forget that. I'll play a clip from the interview they did with one of the victims of the shooting.
Sıktı. Ben duvarın arkasına saklandım. Duvarın arkasına saklanırken kolumdan vurdu adam. Sonra yere yattım. Benim üstüme biri daha yattı. Ben birisinin üstüne yattım. Benim üstüme biri yattı. Onun üstüne de biri yattı yani. Hepimiz böyle bir şeydeydik yani. Bir toptuk yani. Altımdaki çocuk boğazında bir delik var ya. Boğazında delik var. Çocuğa dedim. Çocuk bana diyor. Kardeşim dilimi hissedemiyorum diyor. Dilimi hissedemiyorum. Nefes alamıyorum diyor. Dedim ona dedim kelime-i şehadet getir dedim. Çocuk bağırıyor diyor ki yani kelime-i şehadet getiriyor. Bağırıyor ki herkes şehadetini getirsin. Hiç kimseden ses yok. Sadece biz ikimiz.
I can't imagine being in this person's situation. You know, is saying to, you know, telling the person, you know, recite your final prayer. This is it. You're dead. Like, he's speaking to a person who is on the verge of death, and you know, he was lucky he survived. But it's just insane. You know, if we're going to the details of, you know, the attack itself, suspect has shot down 9 people of migrant background. So he went for people that were from Turkish heritage, essentially. Peter Frank said the material that the suspect Tobias R, so this guy's the suspected shooter, had posted online showed a deeply racist mindset. He had also been influenced by conspiracy theories, probably the Great Replacement theories and all these things. Earlier, Chancellor Merkel said there were many signs that Tobias had acted out of racism, and so this is a racist, or, you know, I think a politically motivated attack. So if we look at the definition of terrorist, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. And so, look, I think his aims were to, you know, he was trying to target people from foreign countries, and keep, you know, Germany white or pure or whatever. You know, I don't have any inside information on that. I think speculation. But if we look into, you know, his background, he's a deeply racist person, and he wanted the destruction of not just immigrants, you know, people from Turkey. He also wanted the destruction of Israel as well, a far right guy, potentially maybe even a neo-Nazi. We don't know yet. Hopefully the German police and special forces can do some more digging on this guy, and we can find out more about, you know, what he did. You know, there's a vigil that was placed. Vigils have been placed, and should honour the people that have died or were killed. Sorry. Erdogan wants, you know, a proper investigation into this. These are Turkish people of Turkish origins, I think, that were killed, and so he's going to be hot on this one. And so, if we look at Germany as a whole, you see Nazi salutes, banned swastika emblems, and even the playing of the Horst Wessel, the one-time Nazi anthem, have all been cropping up around far-right extremist circles as Germany struggles to contain a growing wave of hate of homegrown extremism. The problem has been particularly acute and not confined to the east of the country, in the former East Germany. So we know that when Germany was split essentially into East and West Germany, West Germany had a lot of investment from Western countries, and we also know that East Berlin struggled because a lot of the money was taken out of East Berlin. They used people for cheap labour, essentially, and the wealth was taken out. And so if you go to East Berlin, you can see it looks a lot more run down compared to West Berlin. I think that's something I noticed whilst I was there as well. I'm not 100% sure if it was the case. I went from, you know, the east side to the west side, or what had happened, but it did some areas that look very run down, and so I could be just in an area that's not been invested in or whatever. But in 2015, Germany opened its borders to 1.5 million refugees from the Middle East. Although the number of subsequent incidents involving them has been very small, their arrival has been used by far-right extremists to stoke ethnic tension. And so there's basically this kind of, you know, it's a lot of refugees that come into Germany. And obviously, it does give fuel to the fire of the Great Replacement theory, but those people would have believed that anyways. Like, regardless of these people coming or whatever number, even if it was just 100,000 or even 100, they still would have pushed these ideologies. So obviously, Germany did the right thing. The only argument I have against doing that is some of these guys that came in were in very little self-control and often targeted German women, and so maybe a better vetting process would have been better. But yeah, that's not important to this story anyways. That's a whole different story. But what do we know? What did the prosecutors say? Shortly after the attacks, the suspect and his 70-year-old mother were found in his apartment. Both were also shot. So I'm assuming this guy, he killed his own mum for some reason. An absolute monster. And then he killed himself. That's the only conclusion I come to. Unless it was the mother who killed him and then shot herself. But I doubt that had happened. That would be insane. More insane. Mr. Frank said investigators want to establish any links the suspect may have had to Germany or potentially abroad. So they're still investigating this one. What do we know about the attacks? Was that 10 o'clock German time on Wednesday, and the first target was a midnight shisha bar in the city of Hanau. Witnesses reported hearing about a dozen gunshots. The suspect then drove all the way 1.5 miles to another place. And shisha places are a place. Shisha is popular amongst Middle Eastern people. They call it hookah, I think, and Asian countries. I think Bengali people also do the odd bit of shisha. Not a lot of it, but yeah, it depends. I think it depends where you live. There's a few places in Northampton that a few shisha lounges, I think. Anyway, so who are the victims? So they included German citizens and foreigners aged between 21 and 44. So most of the guys were very young. Among the dead were victims thought of Kurdish origin, and so yeah, a Bosnian and a Bulgarian also died in the attack. So it could be the fact that he thinks the people from this nationality, these countries are also subhuman. That was also, I think, a Nazi belief. People from sort of Poland and I think Bosnia as well. I'd have to fact check that. I'm not 100% sure on that. They were seen as subhuman. Russians were also seen as subhuman as well. Fair game, easy targets. That was a bit of Nazi propaganda. I don't know if this guy thought the same. But look, if we look at this guy, this is where the story gets a bit frustrating for me anyways. So he'd posted videos and a kind of manifesto on his website. In his manifesto, he wrote that people from more than 20 countries, including Turkey and Israel, should be destroyed. So there you've got some sort of basic racism there, and you've got potentially some anti-Semitism there. Okay, London-based German counter-terrorism expert said the target contained various but mostly extreme right views, a will-do-it-yourself ideology cobbled together out of parts found on the internet. So this guy, he was deeply racist. He had his own do-it-yourself ideology, right? Okay, so that's important. And so, this guy, where does it say? There it is, there. So this guy, in a statement, Merkel said there were many indications at the moment that the perpetrator acted on right-wing extremist and racist views out of hatred towards other people. So this guy, the Hesse, I think that's how it's pronounced, State Interior Minister, said that the suspect had not been previously known to authorities. Okay, and the Bild tabloid reports that he also had a firearms license and that ammunition and gun magazines were found in his car. So if this man had deeply racist views, okay, a do-it-yourself ideology of, yeah, I'm going to commit a terrorist attack, and he had a legal firearm, like, clearly the people who get licenses for firearms need to be vetted a lot better than they are in Germany. You could say this is a one-off, but come on man, this is a slam dunk here. This is a slam dunk. He had his own website, okay, posted a do-it-yourself ideology and deeply racist claims. Okay, you can say that maybe he gets away with the racism because of free speech, but a do-it-yourself ideology combined with that, come on man, that's ridiculous. Like, you know, just it's just insane that this man could have a legal firearm and also be putting out these sorts of views, a do-it-yourself mentality of I'm going to commit an attack. Insane. And so Germany, we've got 3 far-right attacks in Germany. So I think it's, I don't know how that's pronounced, in Halle, an attacker kills 2 and tries to storm a synagogue, broadcasting the attack online. He later admits he had far-right and anti-Semitic motive for the attack. That's not a hard one to figure out since he attacked a synagogue. Walter Lübeck, a pro-migrant politician, is shot in the head at close range and found dead in his garden. A suspect with far-right links later confesses to the murder. So this man killed a politician, headshot, in his garden. In his own garden, this man was shot, the politician. An 18-year-old shoots dead 9 people in a shopping mall in Munich before killing himself. Bavarian authorities later classified the attack as politically motivated, saying the teen had right-wing views. An 18-year-old committed this attack. 18. That's crazy. Like, this man went out there and he shot down people. Like, what, you know, who's radicalizing these people? Most likely it's parties like the AFD and people who are going for this great replacement theory that brown people are coming, black people are coming to replace you, mighty white people. Like, the amount of narcissism it takes to believe that A, you're the master race, and B, other people within your own master race want to replace you with brown people. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense that the master race is going to be replaced by an inferior nation? What? Like, it's just ridiculous, like, these people and their ideas. So what has the reaction been? The Hanau mayor has said it's one of the hardest days in our history. He said the city had seen centuries of peaceful coexistence between different faiths and cultures. That's why it's hard to understand. So there's a lot of reactions here from different people. Macron also said that it's immense sadness, and my full support for Germany in the face of this tragic attack. I stand with Chancellor Merkel in the fight and values to protect the protection of our democracies. Germany's Muslim Association, she's the head of the EU Commission, Germany's defense minister. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just this man, he committed the shooting here. I think he's driven all the way here, so he's probably planned it out that he's going to end it here, because there's no way he's getting out. And so it's just crazy. Like, this guy, he was pushing terrorist views, he had a do-it-yourself mentality, and he had a legal firearm, and this is the outcome. You know, he's killed several people, and I mean, this man here, he knows it, and you know, he kind of talks about it a bit, but he was lucky to come out with his life. And the sad thing is, like, appearance-wise, I don't think I'm massively different from him. I'm going to look foreign to anyone who's going to commit these sort of attacks, and that's what concerns me the most. You can say it's a bit selfish, it is, but from these far-right thugs, not many people are safe. If you're foreign, you're not safe. If you believe in certain religions, you're not safe. If you believe in certain ideologies, you're not safe. The vast majority of people will not be safe from these sorts of people, ideologues, the far right, or even, you know, the far left. These guys, they attack synagogues, mosques. They don't care. They don't care. They will do whatever they want. All in the name of trying to protect, you know, the master race, and you know, all that they have, all that they think they have, and it's just insane. And so I'll leave it there, and my condolences to the victims of the shooting. And look, I hope the 2 people who survived, I think it was him and his friend, whoever else survived, you know, get the help that they need, because they're gonna have a lot of survivor's guilt. And yeah, I'll leave it there, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.